Denying incumbent Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer a second term. The latest Fox News Power rankings show the state does lean Democrat, which means Republican Dixon faces a battle on her hands. While polls are tightening, a new one shows if the election were held today, 49% would vote for Gretchen Whitmer, 38% for Tudor Dixon. That's an 11-point difference. She's joining us here now to make her case because the polls could be wrong. And you are on the ground every day talking to people. I mean, Michigan is a battleground state.
Yes, we're seeing closer polls every single day. And right now, the big issue in Michigan is education. What Biden and Whitmer did, keeping kids out of school for so long, and she followed his policies. Keep the kids out, keep them out longer. And they have really suffered. But now we have an interesting thing happening where we have sex and gender in schools, and parents are just rebelling against this in all of our communities. In fact, one of our Democrat strongholds, Dearborn, Michigan, parents have come out and said, we're done with this. We want to make sure that our kids are learning the basics in school. We're going back to reading, writing, and math. It's so critical in the state of Michigan, and that's flipping the race.
I just showed the numbers, the dollar figures. That's quite daunting. How do you win an election in a state that's considered to be that close when you're that far outspent by your opponent?
Well, with good messaging and coming on shows like this, having a lot of events, but also we have folks coming in, allies coming in. The Republican Governors Association is coming in and helping. They're putting ads out and talking about the things that matter to people. Gretchen Whitmer is not talking about the things that matter. She's not talking about inflation. Every time Joe Biden spends more money, she cheers that on. We're talking about what we're going to do to get money back into the pockets of people. And when she's asked, she ignores that question. Right now, we're seeing those polls tighten. We're seeing people come out. We have polls that are showing us, in some cases, tied, in some cases, just 4 to 5 points apart. And I think that's a testament to our messaging compared to theirs, that we could come so close in this race with such a disparity in money.
It's true. That's true. Like, your earned media actually can sometimes be worth more than something that you pay for. So I'm curious, because you've been traveling the state, is there a story or an issue or somebody that you met that has really stuck with you, that you think about every day, which is part of the reason you want to run?
Yeah, absolutely. As well, there's a few times that we've gone around the state and had someone come up to me and just burst into tears. A couple of parents, but one woman in particular, we went to a coffee shop. She came up to me and asked how she could support because she said, I just have to have our state back. It's really striking. I come here to New York and I see people everywhere. You go to cities in Michigan and the businesses are closed. We lost 3,000 restaurants across the state, and it shows in our small towns. People don't have any place to go anymore. They don't feel that sense of community because they were destroyed by these policies. So when I see people who are saying, please bring our state back, that's our opportunity, is to get those people on board. We also have a lot of people that are out there talking about our two proposals on the ballot. We have a proposal on the ballot for abortion and a proposal on the ballot that is for voting rights, but against voting rights. It's taking away voter ID. That's bringing out non-traditional midterm voters as well. Those people are like, we cannot have an election that is not secure. So they've been going to TudorDixon.com to find out what we're going to do about that, and they've been very supportive, and we think that's the answer to bringing this together.
So she was pretty aggressive during COVID. Some people liked it, some people did not. A lot of business owners made themselves quite well known, quite vocal with us during our programming here during the pandemic. Call for number one, guys. Top issues for Michigan voters. Inflation, 29%, clearly number one. But then you have addressing abortion laws. You've got a statewide referendum on the ballot that addresses abortion. Does that help you? Does that hurt you? Is that possibly the deciding factor or issue in your race?
Well, initially, a lot of people said, well, if the governor is going to decide this, that helps us because the governor is not going to decide this in two different ways. That's on the ballot. So if people want that position for abortion with no limits, they can vote for that on the ballot without having to vote for a governor that's going to choose that. But it's also been decided by a judge in the state of Michigan. So abortion in the governor's race is really off the table. It's that inflation that we're talking about. And when we go back to inflation, we see that Governor Whitmer has had time and time again opportunity to put money back into the pockets of people, whether it is cutting the income tax, cutting the retirement tax or giving a gas tax holiday. She's vetoed all of those. So the people are saying, wait a minute, you've had 4 years to help us financially, and you've said no every time, and now we're in a critical situation with finances, and you're still saying no to the people. That's our opportunity to show the people that we are willing to work with them and make sure it's affordable to live in Michigan.
Democrats must think they have a race on their hands because they keep spending all that money. So
and they're bringing in President Obama, so that's very flattering to me.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Tudor
great to meet you.
Dixon.
Thank